Hi, I'm Rich Mathai, and I'm here today to talk to you about the Wave Pro panels from ProSoCoustic. ProSoCoustic is a manufacturer of premium acoustic panels. They were founded in 2012, are based out of North Canton, Ohio, and are proud to be 100% sourced and made in the United States. Now, what exactly do I mean when I say premium acoustic panel? That's a very good question. Let's break it down into the three main categories of what we look for when looking for acoustic treatment, but also what makes ProSoCoustic and the Wave Pro series panel stand out above the rest. First off is going to be the effectiveness, or how much absorption is happening across all the different frequencies. Next is going to be the aesthetic. How do the panels look, but also how do the panels look in our space and make our space feel? And then, of course, the big one, the price. How much is it going to cost? So let's explore the aesthetic side first, because our first impressions are typically based on what we see. So take this 2x2 1-inch thick Wave Pro panel, for example. As you can see here, it's a nice fabric wrapped panel, has a nice solid wooden frame, and tapers from the front to the back instead of being beveled on the front, which adds a little extra diffusion. A little side note. All the Wave Pro panels are CNC machine cut, so they're all the exact same, which is important because when doing acoustic treatment, you don't typically get just one panel, you get several. So if there's any slight variation in those panels, it can cause quite the eyesore. In addition to that, as you can see behind me, you can also have your favorite image or high-res logo or picture printed on your panel. And this is exclusive to ProSoCoustic and the Wave Pro Series panel, if you simply get tired of your color or want to update to a picture or change your picture, you can do that at any time. All you would have to do is order new fabric or a new print. No need to order or build a new panel. Nice, right? Nice and easy. So not only do they have the look down, but also the flexibility to update or change that look at any time in the future. Pretty cool. Premium. Now let's take a look at the effectiveness, or how much absorption is happening across all the frequencies. As we all know, the way sound waves and absorption works is sound comes from a source, passes through the acoustic treatment where some of that energy is absorbed. It's then reflected off the hard surface behind the treatment and passes back through where a little bit more of that energy is absorbed. Easy peasy, right? Well, to add a little bit more to that, different materials absorb different amounts of energy or sound. And generally speaking, it typically goes from the least absorbent, being foam, to somewhere in the middle, being fiberglass, and then the best or the most absorbent being rock wool or cotton wool. Now, even though rock wool and cotton wool have very similar absorption properties, for a number of reasons such as fire safety, health safety, and eco-friendly properties, ProSoCoustic chooses rock wool over cotton wool. As I said, these different materials absorb different amounts of energy, and for example, rock wool can be up to 70% more effective than foam and up to 40% more effective or absorbent than fiberglass. More detailed or specific NRC ratings across all the frequencies, check out the ProSoCoustic website. Now that covers the insulation, or the heart of the panel, which is at a premium level. We've talked about the look, which is at a premium level. So now let's talk about well, even more on the effective side. There's a little bit more to that Wave Pro panel. Behind the insulation, as you can see here, this is where we CNC cut our proprietary diffusion pattern right into the wooden frame. ProSoCoustic is the only manufacturer applying absorption or combining absorption and diffusion in this particular fashion, with diffusion behind the absorption. Now real quick, what is diffusion for those of us that don't already know? Diffusion is the scattering of sound waves as they're being reflected. So for example, where a wall is a flat surface, a sound will go in, be reflected back straight out at the same angle. A diffuser, sound goes in, and those on reflection, those sound waves are now reflected at different angles or scattered. And what this does is this helps reduce the sense of localization or buildup of that energy. When you add the diffusion behind absorption, the sound waves are diffused or scattered back through the absorption or the absorbent material at different angles. And when you change the direction of the return path, it sends the sound wave back through the absorbent material at a steeper angle. So, sound wave comes in, passes through 1 or 2 inches of absorbent material, or rock wool in our case, reflects off the diffuser and scatters before it comes back through, and then passes back through the insulation at a steeper angle. So where it came in, it passed through 1 or 2 inches, it now thinks it's passing back through at maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 inches. And of course, the thicker the absorbent material, the more energy or absorbing of energy or sound happens. So to sum all that up, with the Wave Pro Series panel from ProSoCoustic, not only do they diffuse the sound waves or energy before it passes back through, but that diffusion also helps to enhance the absorption as those waves come back out. So you really are getting more absorption out of less of a panel. All right, now that brings us to the big question, the price. How much is this going to cost me? I did say premium, but I didn't say budget breaking. Now, if you look at the panels side by side, one panel for one panel with the competition, the Wave Pro panel comes in right at the same price point as the other folks, their best or most expensive product. So from that perspective, yes, they can seem on the expensive side. However, again, as we mentioned earlier, when doing acoustic treatment, you don't typically buy one panel, you treat an entire space. So let's look at it from that perspective. For easy math, who's good at math, right? Let's take a 10 foot by 10 foot room, which would equal out to 100 square feet of floor space. Now there are standards for what is considered the desirable amount of minimum absorption in any space. Without getting too technical or detailed on that, because all that info can be found online, to meet those standards across the different materials, absorbent materials, let's start with foam, you would need about 96 square feet of coverage or acoustic treatment for that 100 square feet of space. That's almost half, right? And that would equal out to be, as typical packages you would see, about 24 2 foot by 2 foot foam panels, and cost you a whole lot of time mounting. Now move up to fiberglass, there's a little bit less because you get a little bit more absorption per panel. You would need a minimum of about 60 square feet of treatment for that 100 square feet room of space. The foam package would cost you typically around $550 to $600. The fiberglass packages would be about 22 panels over 24, cost you about $700 to $800, so a bit more expensive, a bit fewer panels, more absorption. Let's talk about rock wool and the Wave Pro Series panel from ProSoCoustic. To meet those same standards of the minimum absorption needed in that 100 square foot space, you would only need 32 square feet of acoustic treatment. We can break that down in as little as 4 Wave Pro panels. That's right, 4 panels. And this would only typically cost you around $600 to $700. So a little bit less money, really, when you look at it, a little less expensive than the fiberglass option. And as you grow and get bigger spaces from there, that just escalates up as well. So once again, when you order the Wave Pro panels from ProSoCoustic, you know you will be getting the most effective and aesthetically pleasing panels at a reasonable price or competitive price, plus the flexibility to update those panels at any time down the road. And they're all made from eco-friendly and sustainable materials that are locally sourced as close to home as possible. So in a word, premium. Wave Pro panels from ProSoCoustic. For more information or to have a free room analysis, visit the ProSoCoustic website at prosocoustic.com. Or check out one of our other fun videos for helpful tips and tricks on maintenance and mounting. Thanks for watching.